As far as the music industry is concerned, the spotlight is usually on the vocalist, but maybe, just maybe, there is about to be a shift as seasoned instrumentalists who have worked equally hard to make the Nigerian music industry what it is today are stepping up. On Spotlight, we have popular drummer Soulman Eli telling us all about it. The boom being experienced in the Nigerian music industry is encouraging different stakeholders to step forward and carve out niches for themselves, as well as lay claim to their dues for contributions made towards the success of the industry. Popular drummer Soulman Eli, better known as Soulman Eli, has been performing for over a decade. Having worked with a number of artists from Seyi Shay to Chris Shalom, the graduate of mathematics from the University of Lagos believes there are many backup instrumentalists who have gone unrecognized for too long.
It's a social problem and it's an industry problem as well. Look at it from the social angle. First of all, how many parents, would proudly want their kids or their children to be a drummer or to be a pianist, So it's a social problem, and partly also because our educational system is not structured in a way that it accommodates people who want to be professionals in that area. If I was living abroad, their institute, I could probably go to some, I don't want to give up cheap publicity, but there are universities I could go to study music, and performing arts, being a drummer full time, and they have an industry that accommodates and employs people in that area. The industry is structured in such a way that people who have giftings and who are professionals in those areas, have room to operate, and but here it's quite different. Our industry is growing, It wasn't like this last 10 years or last 20 years, but so far that's why we are doing what we're doing right now, to actually give room and platforms to people who are behind the scenes in the industry to actually come out and be recognized and known for what they're doing. I think that way, if we do that, we would partly solve the social problem, because if people have models of who they want to be like in their faces, it's easy for the parents to like, okay, wow, there are models out there who are doing this professionally, are making good money. So, okay, I want my child to be like this. But if there are no models out there, it's difficult for a parent to say, you want to be a drummer, you want to be a musician, how much are you going to be paid and all that, And we cannot testify that there are industries like that who have gone through that part. The comedy industry is like that too. Football was like that some time ago. If you come out and say you're a footballer, they probably beat you up. But right now, you see parents sponsoring their children to going to take a career in football. So I think with what we're doing, in the next few years from now, there are parents who would come out and say, okay, my son wants to be a drummer, he wants to be a pianist, he wants to be a bass player. He's not just going to be just behind the scene. Even if he's going to be behind the scene, but he's going to get some level of recognition, and he's going to get good pay as well. Many of us in the industry, we are actually being shortchanged, and I will say that emphatically. Like let's say, what we get for the work we do, the value that we get for the work we do in the industry is not. It's quite very little with the amount of work that we put to what we're doing. We are behind the scene. We make the music behind the scene. We determine what the trend looks like, but a lot of people don't know. The producers feed on what we do behind the scenes.
Though vocalists are the highest grossing stars in the music industry, Soulman Eli hopes to change the fortune of many backup acts by proving an instrumentalist can also emerge from the shadows of the lead singer's fame.
It's not a competition. It's just, like I said, it's just changing the perception about what people think about this particular set of people in the industry. You know, that's why I say it's a social problem. You know, you can't go out there and say you're a drummer and people like, you know, it happens sometimes to comedy as well. If you talk too much, people tell you keep quiet, you talk too much. But if you say you're a comedian presently, people respect you and like they respect what you do. And that's because there were certain individuals in that industry who came out to make that industry what it is today. You know, they became models in that industry. You know, they laid certain foundations in that industry. They created certain platforms that made people stars overnight, you know. So these are some of the things we're doing. We're not saying we're coming out to compete, you know, but we're coming to say, okay, we're trying to change the face and the perception of what people think about people behind the scenes in the performing arts industry.
Are you feeling this?
In recent times, the industry has witnessed the growth of many music producers and instrumentalists, such as Mastercraft and Papi J, who have now become role models.
Presently, we have a very good drummer, Papi J. Papi J, who is signed to Mr. P Records presently. He's doing pretty well as a drummer. He was drummer for P-Square for years. He's doing pretty well too in this area. We have even Mastercraft. Mastercraft was a pianist. I've worked with Mastercraft years ago, coming up in church and all that. So Mastercraft is probably doing very well now as a producer, and he's still a very good musician as well. You know, so we have Fioki. There's no single record you hear right now. The guitar line is being recorded by Fioki, you know, and a lot of them, you know, and even Don Jazzy himself was one time a drummer and a bass guitarist, you know, but because of the way the industry is right now, some of them have to port to something else so that they can get that recognition. And because at the end of the day in the industry, a friend of mine told me some time ago that the louder you get, the more money you make. So at the end of the day, it happens. So the more noise you make. So we're not saying we're coming out to make noise, but we're trying to say we're trying to shift the cameras from just the celebrities to people who are behind the scenes and, you know, change your industry in itself.
As part of his efforts to help others like himself, he began the Drum Extreme series, a platform for instrumentalists both established and upcoming to showcase their talents in 2013.
The turnout was good, and people came out and like, wow, this is new, this is fresh. You know, we've not seen things like this in the industry. Okay, let's put up some more. And we did the next event in May in 2014, and it was good. And we saw the turnout as well. We saw the responses from the audience, and we're like, okay, wow, let's make it bigger. Then we went to University of Lagos, partnered with the Creative Arts Department, University of Lagos, and you know, where we engaged some of the students as well. Then we brought in people, professionals from outside to perform. I think that's the largest crowd we had. We had 2,500 and above audience, and for the first time we got good comments like, we want things like this often. You know, we want to see this. These are people we've not seen I have people who came to me and like, I never knew people like this existed in the industry, so that was how we came out and said, okay, let's make it bigger.